in the previous session, we have already taken under chapter 4, that is planning. We have covered up with the introduction part, the definition of planning, the meaning of planning, importance of planning, features of planning and limitations of planning. So after having given a base as to the introduction, the meaning and the plus and the negatives of planning, in today's session we will be going through the planning process and the types of plans. Now let us start with the planning process. Planning process or process is nothing but going about in a sequence. So before you can draft your plan and go and put the planning into action, there has to be sequence. That is, after what step you are going on to move on to the next one. So when you are going to see the process, I have already jotted out the points here. So let us just once analyze it. The first one being setting objectives. Second one being developing premises. Third one being identifying the alternative course, that is course of action. Next one being evaluating the alternative course. The next being selecting among the alternative courses of action. After that, you put it into a plan has to be implemented. So that comes under the point implementing the plan. Last one being follow-up action. So when you are going through these 7 steps, we may find it difficult to remember or to memorize it in a sequence. Now here, when you are writing the planning process or when you are following the planning process, you cannot break up or you cannot move from the first, then you write the third point, then you again come back to the second. You cannot have confusion there. It has to go in a sequence. So sometimes you might find it difficult to memorize it. So I am just telling you a tip, a mnemonic, using which you can memorize it easily. I have noted it down here. It says, yes dies if. S dies if. Here S stands for what? It stands for setting objectives. The word dies, D for developing premises, I for identifying alternative course, E for evaluating alternatives, S for selecting alternatives, I for implementing the plan and F for follow-up action. So this is just a mnemonic for your reference only, students. It is yes, S dies if. Now let us come to the first one, that is setting objectives. Now the very primary, the first step under planning is you should be setting up your objective or your goal. Every organization should be having certain objectives. Now objectives or goals specify what the organization wants to achieve. So you should be knowing what you want to achieve. As a student, when you have come to the commerce stream, you should be knowing in future what is your achievement, where are you moving at, what is your goal, what is your target. If you do not have a goal in mind, then it's very difficult to give directions to your actions. So if you have to give directions to your actions, you should be having certain goals or objectives, which is very important. Now, the target or the goals, what you said, it should be always achievable ones, which you can achieve. So even for an organization, when they are setting up their target, they should see to it that they are in a position to achieve it. Only if it is achievable will they be motivated. Now achievement here depends on what? It depends on the physical and the financial resources what you have. You have too many, if it is the case that you have too many ideas in your mind and you want to bring it into action, but you lack finance. You know, money is very important. Finance is very important for whatever activities you have to undertake within your organization. So looking into your physical and financial resources, you have to set up your target or goals that are achievable. Now, never set up a task which is impossible. If you set up a task which is impossible, what happens? You're prone to get demotivated. You know you cannot achieve it. Even though you're putting in 100%, you cannot achieve it. Then you become demotivated. Your efficiency, your effectiveness, everything falls down. So to avoid all these things, you should always set up a target or an objective or a goal which is achievable and not an impossible one. Here, you have to learn to take smaller steps, right? There's a difference between taking smaller steps and directly want to reach the ultimate. When you want to reach the ultimate, you have to cross it slowly. If any unforeseen circumstances arises, you should be knowing how to deal with it. Let's just take an instance that you are ready to attend for a business meeting and you have to reach the place. It's a little far off place and the time is fast moving on. So you want to reach there on time. So what you do is you take your vehicle and reach there. Once you have reached there, the meeting where the place which was fixed is on the 4th floor. Now, to your bad luck or good luck, the lift is not operating. There's some problem in the lift. So what have you to take? The staircase. Now, when you are going to the staircase, because the time is lapsing, you cannot become, you're becoming tensed, you cannot take hazardous steps. You have to take smaller, one by one you have to climb the staircase and go. If you think I'm in an urgency and I may be late for the meeting and you try to jump from the first, you just take a bigger leap to the 4th and from there to the 8th. If you're going on faster, there are chances that you might trip and fall down and then it's going to lead into accidents, right? So to avoid that, you go out slowly. Okay, you all are late, fine, but go with patience, you take step by step. Same is the case with the objectives what you set for the organization. It should be one that is achievable. Okay, once you know it's achievable only, you are motivated towards working and reaching your ultimate aim or objective. So this was the first one, that is setting objectives. Coming to the second one, developing premises. As we all know, planning is concerned with what? Planning is concerned with the future course of action. It's not of the past, it's not of the present, it's of the future. Future course of action, we all know, future is uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. So here, the managers are needed to take certain assumptions. Okay? Now, these assumptions are called as premises. You take certain assumptions or some predictions that in future, if I meet certain contingencies or suddenly some mishap happens, what am I going to do to withstand those mishap? How am I going to face the future? So for certain things, you have to already set up your mind. Okay? So you assume certain things, take certain predictions, take certain forecasts about the future course of action, whichever you are going to follow to reach your ultimate goal or aim. Now here, the base material is what? The base for planning. If he has to take assumptions also, what is the base material? What is given to him? It may be, or which is provided to him, or he takes into consideration. What are the base materials? It may be the forecast, it may be the already existing plans which is in use, or past information about the policies, whatever is in practice. So it is a sum of all these things. What are those? Your forecast, the existing plans, or the past information. So whatever is available to the manager, he makes use of all these available materials which is helpful to him to draft his plan. Right now he is drafting the plan for what? For the future. So, present situation is this, he has to move forward to the future. So, this will be the course of action taken by him. So, premises is nothing but you are making certain assumptions. Here we can just take an example. If a sales executive, a sales or the sales department, it wants to increase its sales. Can it directly think without proper planning, okay, I have to start increasing my sales from tomorrow? Can it be a quick action? No. There are so many things you have to take into account if you have to come out with a proper plan as to how you are going to increase your sales. It may be in the form of like what you have to plan for. It may be in the form of like what type of products, what's a product line you want to increase. Looking into what you decide the product line, looking into your customers or consumers' likes, tastes, preferences. Your product will have a market only when the consumers' tastes and preferences are met. And you give out the product which is wanted by them. You cannot force a person to buy. The person should be freely willing to buy. If it's satisfying all his needs, he will go forward to buy the product. So, here what are the products to be increased? Then the advertising policy, whatever you want to follow, you have to correctly target at the target market whom you are targeting at. It should reach them. Your advertising strategies should reach at the target market whom you are catering, whom you are looking forward. Only when it's appealing to them do they would like to show some interest in your products. Other than that, it may be the production techniques what you are following. How can you increase? By improvising or modernizing the production techniques. It may be the packaging, whatever you are coming out for the product, what packaging you are using, try to make it more attractive so that it catches the eye of the customers. Next, you have to look into the inflation part also, because inflation plays during that given period. What's the inflation rates? That plays a very important, whether your business is going to boom or going to come into depression. So, looking into all these factors, will the sales section decide on how to improve their sales. So, this was an example given relating to the developing premises. Next one, the third point being identifying the alternative courses of action. Now, after you have fixed your objectives by making assumptions. Now, assumptions are made. Next is what? How you are going to act upon, right? So, if you have to act upon, you have to identify before you can act as to what is going to be my ultimate plan among the various options available. So, if you have to act upon, you have to identify all the alternative courses of action. When you are identifying it, when you are identifying the various courses of action, alternative courses of action, you will be seeing the positive and the negative aspects of it. If I put a plan into action, how much of positive aspects are there and how much of negative aspects are there. So, you would fix in a plan which has more positive and least of negatives. Here, you cannot look into your competitors' strategies. If you are talking of sales, you are following a particular sales strategy and your competitor is following another strategy. Now, if his sale is increasing, you cannot take or copy out his plan or his strategies to fix up your plan, because it will be totally different. What are the business environment he is facing and what's the business environment you are facing? What is your financial condition? What is his financial condition? It's going to be totally different. So, you can never have comparison between your competitors for fixing your plans. So, the plan what you select should be best suited for your workplace. Before you can act upon to a situation, you have to take proper time. Your time should be benefited. The efforts what you put should be benefited and before finalizing to any actual plan. So that was regarding the third, that is identifying alternative courses. The fourth one being evaluating alternative courses. What is evaluation? You are having a study. Evaluation is you are having a study, you are going through the various courses of action, whatever the alternatives are there, you try to analyze, have a study, detailed study of each course of action, each alternatives available. When you have a detailed study, you will be knowing whether it is beneficial or not, whether it's in the goodwill or good faith of your organization or not. So looking into each and every minute part which is going to be affected, you have to come to the conclusion for as to which plan I am going to implement. Here you will be trying to have an analysis or trying to evaluate based on what? Based on the feasibility. In the light of feasibility, next the consequences. So here you take into consideration the feasibility and the consequences. Feasible is what? Whether you can inculcate that particular plan or whether you can use that particular plan in your organization. Only if it's feasible. Here the feasibility is concerned looking into the physical as well as your financial resources. If your organization does not have the required physical and the financial resources, what happens? You may shortfall. So you cannot tell the plan is feasible. Feasible is you should be able to put it into practice looking into the available situations. So looking into the situation, what is prevailing in your organization, can you put that plan into action? Otherwise, it's going to fail. It's going to be hazardous for you. So that's feasibility. Next is consequences. If I am going to implement a particular plan for the future course of action, what would be the consequences of it? What would be the result of it? As a student, when you are appearing for your public exams or your annual examination, what is your mindset? You always want to pass out with the good marks. So when the result date is fast approaching after your exam, you have given out your examinations, and when the result dates are approaching, you are with full fear of the consequences. That's the result. What's the result going to be? Whether it's going to be very good or whether it's going to be satisfactory, or sometimes you just have the fear. If one or two subjects it was tough for you, you will have the fear whether I'll pass or whether I will fail. So that fear will be there. Same way within an organization, when they put a plan into action for the future, they have to look into the consequences, whether it's going to give a positive result or a negative result to the organization, because we expect positive aspects, we take positive aspects into consideration, because we want to see that our organization is going to move forward in the future and get the best and the optimum result so that we can reach our goals or targets. After we have seen that, it will be like if you are just going to the plan, what is selected, as I have already told, we should see our resources, the situation and your ability. About the resources we have already spoken, the physical as well as the financial resources. Next, whether it is under your situation, whether you can control it or not. Okay. and looking into your organization structure too, whether you can implement the plan what is drafted, whether it's suiting your organization structure. Next, looking into your ability, whether you are able to face the plan what you have drafted in the positive manner. So, all these are taken into consideration when you are evaluating, having a study about the alternative courses of action. After having evaluated or studied each course of action, next step would be what? You have to select. Okay? The best plan is selected, that has to be adapted and implemented. You have to put it into use. Now, here we select a plan which is, already one point is written down, which is most feasible we select a plan which is most feasible and which is profitable and least negative consequences. So, least negative consequences. So, when you want to adopt and implement a plan, you have to take these three into consideration, whether it's feasible for you, how profitable it is. You're aiming to plan your future course of action because you want to get better results than the last year. You want better profits than the last year. If as a student, you have just joined your first PUC, you have taken up commerce. In the first test, after having gone for 2 months, you are appearing for your first test. First test performance, as you are new to the subject, first test performance might have been a little poor. But when you are coming to the second test, would you like to go back or improve yourselves? Obviously, as students, we would like to improve ourselves in the second test. And when it comes to midterm, it's going to be more better than the previous test, right? So, same here, even an organization, it will always not be satisfied with the level of profits or the profitability, whatever it is making. It would like to improve as years go by. That is why they are planning for. Okay? So, first point was feasibility, the second one was profitability. Third one, we look into a plan which has least negative consequences. We all know that business all may face risks, uncertain, certain contingencies, certain hazardous accidents may happen, everything might happen. But we always would like to have a plan taking into assumptions of the future or making predictions about the future. We would like to see that the particular plan what you have selected will have the least, if not nil. You cannot tell I'll run a business without facing any risk. No, it's not possible at all. Next minute you do not know what's going to happen. So, you should always keep your mind open. But open in the sense you will not be ready to face all negative consequences as and when they come. So, what you try to do? You try to avoid. How well I can avoid such situation in case it occurs. Okay? So, looking into this, we try to select up a plan. Now, here we cannot have mathematical analysis. You cannot take in numbers. How good my plan is, how bad my plan is, you cannot take it. Here what you do, what is taken into consideration? The manager's experience. Okay? Manager's experience, his judgment and intentions. So, always remember it's manager's experience, manager's judging level and also the intuition, not intention, it's intuition. Intuition what a manager can take. How well, as and when years go by, a manager gets more experience. More the experience, more will be he in a position to take judgments which is beneficial to the organization. And in certain cases, to like forecast, intuition is what you just think, no, this might happen. It's not 100% that it is going to happen, but you get an intuition that in case I face such a situation, how will I deal with it? So when you are already ready for all these things, you can come out with the best plan. Sometimes the combination, instead of like going in only for rigid one plan, you can have a combination. Because some, like when you are combining things, what happens? Good points of each of the plan can be combined into one single plan. There are some other plan strategies. So you take up the good points from each one and try to combine it and come out with the best plan. So that's regarding the selection of alternative course of action. After you have thought, I am going to select, the next step is what? Implementing the plan. So here, what is implementation? You are putting the plan into action, right? You are putting the plan into action. So you have seen all the positive side, the negative side, the pros, the cons, how well it's going to be affected to the organization, well suited for the organization. About the future, you are taking certain forecast, assumption, everything has been done. You have selected the best of best plan, and then finally you are putting into practice, implementing. It is nothing but putting the plan into action. Now here, when you are implementing, all these functions are taken into picture. After having crossed all these hurdles, have you come here, right? Now if you are participating in your sports day, if you are participating in a sports event, hurdles event, you have seen her in the running race, it's a hurdle event. So if it's a 400 meters hurdle race, there will be hurdles kept after 100 meters. By the time you reach your target, you have to cross the hurdles. What have you to see? That the hurdles don't fall down. You have to very carefully cross the hurdles. So same way here, when you are implementing, you are crossing through each level. You have crossed through all these levels and reached to the implementing. So when you are putting it into action, it is the best plan you have put it to action, where all are moving towards which direction? Towards reaching their ultimate aim or objective. So after having gone through all these steps, is it enough that you just implement? Okay, I have put this plan into action. I will be putting this plan into action. Is it sufficient? No. After you have put it into action, what is the follow-up? You have to go on to the last step, that is follow-up action. What is follow-up? It is monitoring. Okay, it's monitoring the plans, which is equally important to ensure that the objectives are achieved. Only when you follow up things will you know whether you are going in the right directions, whether you are reaching your objectives. You have simply not set up certain plans. When you are setting up plans, you are with the intention in your mind to achieve your ultimate goals or targets. So if you have to reach your ultimate goals or targets, you have to have a follow-up action. As students, if you have not done very well in your first test, just a small instance, you have not done very well in your first test, can you just leave it out like that? Okay, the subject was tough, I am not interested to study, I don't want to put in more efforts anymore. No, you would like to have a follow-up, that is what went wrong. Why couldn't I clear the subject, or why did I get lesser marks in that particular subject? Only when you have a follow-up can you improve in the next. So same here, you have to have a follow-up action to ensure that the objectives are achieved. Okay? to see whether the plans which have been implemented and the activities that have been performed according to a schedule or which had to have a follow-up action. So you have set up a schedule as to how you are going to move about. If you have already set up, after setting up, when the plan is actually put into practice, is it working out? That has to be seen. Are you moving in the right direction? Only when you are moving in the right direction can you achieve your ultimate aim or your objective. So a follow-up action is very much needed. Here we can just take a small example. If you are having your annual day celebrations, your college day, and the programs are all set up, okay? You have a formal program. The program begins at 5 o'clock, beginning with the formal program will be there, followed by the entertainment program. In the formal program, the program list or the schedule of the program has to be fixed. What's going to follow what? Beginning with the prayer, escorting the guests to the dais, with a welcoming. All those things has to follow after the welcoming. Then the other, like if the person whoever is the guest, he has to speak. So that only when you give a sequence or a schedule is given, that event will go on smoothly. In case there is a confusion, you have not fixed who has to talk after whom, which guest has to talk after which. If that is not said, and you just go and suddenly call a person, you have told that person that he has to speak after the first person has spoken, and you go out and call the name of the second one. It's your mistake, but you have called out. This was why a proper planning was not done, right? So if the planning has to go on smoothly, and if you have to see that whatever plans you have implemented is doing its best, there should be a follow-up action. I hope students you are very clear with the planning process. There are 7 steps in the planning process, which begins with what? Setting objectives. The next one being developing premises. The third one being identifying alternative courses of action. The next being evaluating the alternative courses of action. Then comes selecting the alternatives. After you have selected, you implement the plan whatever you have selected, and last step being the follow-up action. So after having gone through the planning process, it's time now to go to the last part in the planning chapter, that is types of plans. Now we have already seen what is a plan. Plan is nothing but a document which highlights what? Highlights your goals or your objectives which you are going to achieve in future. So it's your future course of action. For your future course of action, you are setting up a plan in the planning process, right? So under the types of plans, I hope I am clear with what the meaning of plan is. After that, we have to go into the bifurcation of the types of plans. Basically, the plan is mainly or broadly divided into 2. The first one being single use plans, and the second one being standing plans. Under this is the major heads: single use plans and standing plans. Now, what is single use plan? Single use plan is developed for a one-time event. One-time event or a project, okay? It may be an event or a project. Now, such a course of action is not likely to be repeated in future, and the duration of this particular plan will depend on what? Will depend on the type of your project. So you cannot say how long. Until and unless that project is there, that plan will be there. So I have jotted out the features of the single use plans. Used only once, that's for that particular event or that particular project. Next, it is developed for one-time event. Once that event or that project is done, the plan is lapsed. Third one being discarded when the project is over. So, once the project has been done, then what have you to do? The plan will be automatically discarded. You cannot use the same plan for your future use. Here, under this, we will be having budgets of programs. Okay. Now, when you are coming to one-time project, we can just take an example of construction of road. A road construction that is in the national highway, they have taken up a project of constructing a road. Okay. Concrete, they want to put concrete on the road. So, they have taken a place from one end to another. That is the particular project that is constructing the concrete road. Now, for that particular project, they fix up a plan. The length, the breadth, the materials used, everything, the labors what are they are using, all will be only for that particular project of construction of road. Once that road has been completed, can that same plan be used for the next one? No. It may be, the matter may be the same, construction of a road only in another place. But the length, the breadth, the cost of the laborers or other costs, whichever is incurred, may differ. So, you cannot take this plan into consideration when you are going in for another project of another construction in another place. So, once the construction of the road is done, it is over. You cannot move on with the same plan to another project. So, it is very clearly stated here, it is used only once. The single use plan, the name itself is suggesting it is used only for one use, single use. Next, developed for one time event or project. Once that event or that project lapses, the plan is gone. Here, discarded once the project is over. The last one, that is, which are the things involved coming under this particular head? It may be budgets or programs. Going to the standing plan. The name suggests stand. It means what? It is used for the activities that occur regularly over a period of time. So, the activities which occur regularly over a period of time, for these we use standing, we call it as standing plans. It is usually developed once maybe. It is developed once, but you can modify it from time to time as per your needs or requirements. So, the same plan can be used again and again with little of modifications. Fine. Here, standing plans used what? Used again and again. Next, it is developed for activities which are regular in nature, regularly occurring. Developed once, but it can be used again and again with what? With modifications if needed as per your requirements. What comes under this? There are certain things, that is policies, procedures, methods and rules. All these come under standing plans. So, this is the major the classification coming under plans. After having seen the broad classification of plans, we are coming here into the sub-classifications. Here, the classification based on what plan seeks to achieve. So, based on your ultimate aim or your target, you try to have subdivisions of plans. Here I have noted it down. The first one being objectives, next strategy, policy, procedure, method, rule, program and budget. So, these are the 7 coming under plan, which is classification based on what plan seeks to achieve. Let us move on to the first one, objectives. What are objectives? Objectives are desired future position that the management would like to reach. Very simple. So, what is your future? Where do you want to be, or what is your ultimate target or your aim? Now, they are defined as the end to what the management wants to seek. By what? By having looking into all its operations. All other managerial activity are also directed towards achieving these objectives. You can just take an example here. An organization has an objective of improving its sales turnover by 10%. So, if it wants to improve its sales turnover by 10%, they have set up a target 10%. How do I reach that particular target? Whether it's achievable by me, all these are taken into consideration. When it comes to sales, he has to look into the product line, the production technique, the advertisement technique, whatever he is going to follow, what are the taste and preferences of the customers, what's the packaging strategies I am going to follow. So, looking into taking into account all these parts, he has to be formulating his final objective, which should be achievable. Coming to the second one, that is strategy. A strategy is a comprehensive plan for accomplishing organizational objectives. I hope it's clear. A strategy is a comprehensive plan for accomplishing organizational objectives. Now, what is comprehensive? It is our ability to understand something. It's not enough that you have given out your strategy, people should understand it too. So, it's nothing but a comprehensive plan for ultimately what is your aim to achieve your objective. Here, if we just take a small example, you have to work out in your accounts. For your first test, you got 3 chapters included. The first one, accounts for not-for-profit organization. Next one, partnership fundamentals. Third one, admission of a partner. Now, for these 3 problems, do you think the solution is the same? If you want to get the right answer, is the solution the same? No. Each chapter, for each problem, there is a different solution. If for the not-for-profit organization, if you give the answer or the solution solving part is of admission, will the problem fetch you marks? No. So, same way here, after having had a detailed study, can you come into for accomplishing your organizational objectives, which will include 3 dimensions. When you are looking into the strategy, you have to look into 3 dimensions here. Determining your long-term objectives. Determining what? Determining your long-term objectives. You are setting up a plan for a longer period because you are involving so much of your time, so much of cost, so much of efforts with it. So, it should be fetching you long-term objectives. Next, adopting a particular course of action. Adopting a particular course of action. Particular course. The third one, allocating resources necessary to achieve the objectives. Allocating resources. So, these are the 3 dimensions you are going to look for. First one, your long-term objectives. Second one, you are adopting a particular course of action, what you are going to put it into use. Third one, how do you allocate the available resources with you? May it be financial resources, may it be physical resources. How well or the optimum utilization do you make of the available resources so that you are benefited to the maximum level. So ultimately your aim is to achieve your target or your objective. So if your objectives are not achievable, then it is no point, there's no point in putting that particular plan into implementation. So if it has to be implemented, you have to see that you have allocated the resources in the right manner to achieve your objective. The next one you can take up is, so this was about strategy. Move on to the next one, that is policy. Now policies are what? Policies are general statement that guide thinking to channelize thinking or channelize your energies towards a particular direction. So they are general statements. They are just giving guidance to your thinking or channelizing your energies towards what? Towards a particular direction. If you want to reach your target, you want to move from Bangalore to Mysore. So your start point is Bangalore, you have to reach Mysore. Now in between, if you make diversions, what happens? You will be not reaching your destinated place. So if you have to reach your destination, you have to move in the right direction. So same here, these just guide your thinking and use all your energies or channelize, giving it a direction so that you are moving in the proper direction. They guide the managerial action and decisions in the implementation of strategy. So if this has to be, strategy has to be used, they are just giving, to put into action and to take up a decision and to implement it, you require a policy. So they are just general statements. Here you can just give the example of pricing policy or the sales policy. The next one being procedure. Procedures are routine steps on how you carry on your business activities or the activities within an organization. Procedures are what? They are just steps, the routine steps, whichever you keep on following. They detail the exact manner in which a work has to be performed. So how have you to do your job? It's of routine nature. And they are specified to go on in a chronological order. I hope you all remember in first PUC, you all had your journal chapter. There, when you are solving out a journal problem, it would have been given date-wise, and you cannot skip the date and come to, if it is starting from 1st, ends with 31st, you cannot from the first transaction come to the 31st date transaction. It has to move on in a chronological order. The businessman has to maintain the journal entries in a chronological order in the same manner. So same way here, the procedures are said to be routine, which are of routine type on how to carry on the activities. Okay, they are just giving you a chronological order. Here you can just take the example of recruiting staff. So for your organization, there's a vacancy for one particular post, for a manager post, there's a vacancy and you want to call for. Now you have given an advertisement in the paper, people or through some media, you have advertised that there's a job vacancy. There will be many number of applicants who will be applying. Once you receive all the applications, can you call all the people? There may be thousands who have applied. For one post, can you call 1,000 people to attend the interview? No, you would shortlist them. After having shortlisted, next step is what? You would call for the required number. If it is 15 people you want to call, you call the 15 candidates. They come attend the interview. The next time after the interview, the panel will decide who is selected. After a person has been selected, he will be given intimation. Others would have been sent the regret letters. So the person who has been selected, he would be coming to the organization to join his post. Once he is coming, he's been told all the rules and regulations. He's been appointed maybe for a probation period. and he has to be well versed in his job. After that, he will be moved on to a specific area where he has to be suited. So this will be the procedure followed for recruiting, right? So procedures are nothing but the routine steps on how do you carry on the jobs. Next one being method. Now methods are prescribed way or manner in which the tasks are to be performed considering the objective. So it's the prescribed way or manner in which the work or the task has to be done considering what? Considering your objective. So you see, anywhere in all these things, you are never diverting yourself from your objectives or your ultimate aim. Usually for higher level of management, they will be having orientation program set for them. It's a routine method. Next, if you are coming to the middle or the lower level, they may be given training programs to update themselves as per the requirements. So all these things comes under method. The next one being rules. What are rules? Rules are specific statements that inform what is to be done. Specifically, you are clarifying things and telling this has to be done. There you do not allow for any flexibility or any discretion, so no changes can be made in that particular rule. You can here we can just take an example. If there is a board put up no parking, it means you haven't to park there. Can you take just I don't want to follow that, and if you keep your vehicle there, the traffic people are sure, traffic police is surely going to summon. You will have to pay a fine there. They might issue a summon a notice there. So you will have to pay fine for that. It's an unnecessary burden, right? So here rules are those which specify, are specific. They specify, they give you the direction that you have to do it. There you do not have anything where you can make changes or discretion. If here an example is, if you are supposed to wear identity cards in your workplace. So it's a rule in so many cases. Some places, even when you are entering your premises, you are supposed to, in the biometrics, you will have to show your ID card or even your face as an recognition that you are the person who has to enter the premises. Others are not allowed. So when it's told that identity card is compulsory, you will have to wear it. So that comes under rules. The next one being programs. Programs are nothing but detailed statement about a project which outlines the objectives, the policies, the procedures, the rules, the task, what are the human and the physical resources required, and the budget to implement it into any course of action. So program is what? It is just in detail telling you, detailed statement which tells you in detail what is the overall project about, what is your work. It may be, if here you can just take an example, it may be a program for opening new sales outlet. So when the program is given in detail, everything is specified. What are the things that is present in the new sales outlets? Only then can you have a clear idea as to what is the action going on there. The last one we will be covering up here is budget. Budget is a statement of expected results. Expressed in what terms? Expressed in numerical terms. It is a plan which quantifies future facts and figures. So in simple term it is given, it is a statement of expected results. You don't know what as per your expectation, what is your expecting, what results are you expecting? Based on that you frame budgets. Expected results based in what terms? Based in numerical terms, facts and figures. It is a plan that quantifies future facts and figures, as I told just now. Regarding what's going to happen in the future, you're just having a forecast. Here, example of sales budget. You may forecast the sales of different products in each area for a particular month. So your company is coming out with a product and you want to see your sales budget. So you will be having different line of products. For the different line of products in different areas, what is the sales turnover? So after looking into that, you want to look into that and prepare a sales budget. Okay. So these were the broad classifications, what was done based on what? Based on what plan seeks to achieve. So with this, we have come to the total conclusion of the planning chapter, which had begun with the introduction, definition, meaning, importance, features, limitations, planning process and types of plans. After having gone through all the concepts under planning, here it's written down how many marks questions would be asked in this chapter. You will be having 1 mark, 1 question, 2 marks, 1 question, 4 marks, 1 question, that comes up to 7 marks from this particular chapter, and then a practical oriented question which is based on the planning process. So these are the expected marks questions what would be asked in this particular chapter. Thank you.